Relational work is really the backbone of what Selenos is about, but also what any kind of therapeutic practice around children in care should be about. It's a discipline and it's hard work. Relational practice asks us not just to show up with our skills, our qualifications, our experience, but it demands us to show up as our authentic selves in our humanity, flawed as it undoubtedly is. Relational work asks us to accept who we are in the room with a child, to not just reflect on the work that we do, the system that we're in, the child that we're working with, but to be reflexive too. And by reflexive, I mean really noticing how we're impacting the system, the context. What is it that I'm doing in this space? What's being evoked in me as I'm sitting here with this child? What is the part that I'm playing in the relationship amongst us at the moment? When we're met with complexity, for all of us, everybody likes to make it simple. If it becomes too difficult, we want it to be binary. We want it to be a simple yes or no. I'm right, you're wrong. This is the right way to do something. This is the wrong way to do something. It's really natural. But relational practice asks us to stay in the discomfort of not knowing. It's really easy when you're faced with a child who is complicated, painful to work with, who rejects us, who's difficult in whatever way we find difficult. It's easy to retreat into certainty. Well, I've got a certificate from who knows where, doing magnificent things in who knows what. I'm experienced. So if this isn't working, it's not about me. There's something wrong with this child. It means we then kind of slip into blaming the child for the work not working. But if we sit in the discomfort, in a bizarre way, we kind of protect ourselves, because if we hold ourselves responsible for everything going right, that it's our job to make things right. And I know because I've got a certificate, because I've been doing this work for a long time, and we retreat to a place of safety that I'm okay and I know what's right. Then we hold ourselves responsible for every failure. And that leads to burnout. The more times you're faced with work that you can't do, that isn't easy, that you don't have the answer for, the more depleted you become as a person and as a professional. And it's dangerous because it puts us in a place where we blame a child. I've heard this. There's no point. This child's not ready to engage. This child is hard to reach. Nobody could work with a child who behaves like this. And it's never their fault. If what we see is that the work is complex and we are part of that complexity, and whilst we have responsibility within that, that's shared with everybody else who's part of the field too, then we can allow ourselves to be compassionate. And of course, compassionate for the child in that often complex, huge machinery of a system. But we can also be compassionate for ourselves and for our colleagues. We can recognize when we're getting to the end of our tether, when we're finding something too hard. And instead of flipping into the binary, I know best, or it's not enough, or it's their fault, we allow ourselves to retreat. We allow ourselves to sit in that discomfort, the discomfort that the child's probably been living with their whole life. We allow ourselves to feel like we're not good enough and to tolerate that with the child and for the child, so that we can then come to a point where we can understand each other and move on in the not knowing, in the nuance and in the complexity.